All right. Hey, everybody. I'm your host, Addie, and welcome back to If You Would Have Asked Me. So, obviously, once again, we are in a new style, different vibe, different environment. I am trying something different than what I've done every other time I've tried something different, once again. Mainly because I want to. And everything that I've tried before, I was taking a lot of advice from other people, and I didn't really even think about what would come naturally to me. So, this is this is what I feel like is coming naturally right now, and watch next week, it's not going to be what's coming natural to me. So I love that there are so many people right now who are just finally understanding what their worth is and what love truly is. And so today's podcast episode comes from a thought that I had a while back. And so I'm going to read like the full thought that I had wrote down, and then I'm gonna like go into more detail. So the goal was to try to make all the videos 10 to like 5 minutes or 10 to 20 minutes long. If I go over, my bad. I'm trying to make them shorter so they're easier for people to listen to. I make no promises because I don't give a fuck. Okay. I love that there are so many people in the world right now that are starting to understand their worth and what love is. Genuinely getting why things didn't work because they weren't meant for you. I know it's hard when you have this idea in your head of everything working perfectly, but when you make it up, it also fixes. But when you that when you make up all the that when that when you make up, it also fixes all the issues that were there before. You can just love them freely again without feeling like you're holding back from each other. But those unsettling feelings come back in, and they never actually left. You were just okay with ignoring them for a little bit longer, just so you could love them a little more. And I completely understand that. It's hard to ignore the unconditional love that you have for one another. It's also not healthy to stay somewhere that isn't for you. I don't want to say it's not working because it is functional, and if you're dedicated enough and if you are with your person, it should be something that you love and want to do. It would never feel like you're being drained in cycles, going back and forth, and it's okay because it's something and someone that you love. Because it actually isn't okay. Just because you found just right and unconditional love doesn't mean that's your person. It means that not every connection or relationship you have in your life is going to be toxic, and you can have good people in your life who are going to look out for you and who actually do care about you, but you just aren't compatible with them. And I know it's hard when you want to still have them in your life just because you love them. But what's harder is not seeing them romantically anymore, letting go of the life that you thought you would have with them and revisioning the way that they could fit into your life now. So you don't have to let go of someone that you love and can brace yourself for the one day that you will meet somebody who wants to learn everything bad and good about you and love you anyways. And when they love you anyways, it doesn't drain you in cycles. And it's still unconditional love, and it's so much more than just right or just enough. So, actually had this thought because I recently just got out of a relationship. Um and I genuinely believed that we both loved each other enough to where we could make we could make it work. Like, there's no way that this isn't played out the way it's played out because we weren't supposed to end up together. And I had came to this thought because I kind of just had to accept the fact that it wasn't going to work, and that they weren't my person, and that we weren't meant to be together. So, myself included, I love that so many people are finally starting to understand their worth and what love truly is. I will unconditionally love both of my exes. That will never stop. I will never stop caring about them, and I will never stop doing what I think is best for them, despite how much hurt they've caused me. And sometimes I hate that. I hate how much I want to be there for them. I hate how much I'll let them hurt me just because I love them. But I know I'm not going to stop. And it sucks because I love them both unconditionally. There is no conditions to the way that I love them. If either of them called me right now and just said, "Hey, I need to talk," I would answer, and I wouldn't even say a word about how much it fucking hurts me to just be talking to you right now, because what the fuck? I thought we were gonna end up together. I still see you sometimes in my head as that person that it worked out with. This episode is about the hard truth of letting go of people while still loving them. Now, I did this really well with my first ex. We broke up actually about a year ago this week. You guys have heard about him. And for the first couple months of this year, I genuinely thought I was never going to get over him. I thought no one's going to love me. No one's going to love me again. No one can see me the way that he saw me. No one's ever seen me the way that he's seen me. So honestly and so true, yet also no one ever claimed and saw me that much and also still treated me like shit the way that you did either. You know, my best friend, Cyan, Hannah, and honestly, majority of my family sees me more than either of the people that I dated ever did. Because not only do they genuinely care about me, but they also take the extra steps to prevent my feelings from being hurt and to prevent me feeling like I just got my heart ripped out of my chest because I trusted someone again. So, a lot of us imagine love as something that fixes everything. We all see love as, well, if I love you, it'll be fine. If we have love, then all of these issues can be resolved. If we have love, then XYZ. But what we don't think about is how often are a lot of us in situations where our parents love us unconditionally. Their love for us will never stop. But because they've never raised a child before, they are consistently hurting us because they don't know how to handle our feelings. It's no different when just because this person isn't your dad or your mom doesn't mean that you aren't in a relationship with somebody who, because of the way that they were brought up, will never understand your thoughts and your feelings, or just in general could never understand your thoughts or your feelings. As much as they love you, they don't understand you enough to give you what you need to feel cared for. And if they did, you would feel cared for. Isn't that crazy? If someone cared for you, you'd feel cared for. And the thing that sucks is I know when I feel cared for, because when I feel cared for, it's such an overwhelming feeling for me that I can't help but cry. Because it's not often that people think that deeply for me. Because, like, why would you think that deeply for me? I'm not your girlfriend. I'm not your significant other. You don't have to think that deeply for me. But you did. And that means a lot to me. So, a lot of the times when we're in relationships and we get upset with each other because someone lacked empathy or there was just a simple miscommunication, and you make up after that miscommunication, and it just kind of feels like it's wiping away all the issues in the past and that now you guys are going to be able to move on from this point forward because it was just a miscommunication. So now you're able to ignore the fact that you guys were not able to receive each other's communication properly. If you and your significant other are constantly in some kind of argument or feel some type of way towards each other because you're having miscommunications, that is a sign that that's not your person. That's not someone that you need to be with, because unresolved feelings always return. So just because in that one moment it was, well, I felt this way because of this and I felt that way because of that, and then you come to another situation and obviously it's not the same thing as before, but it's a different situation, and that principle is still there. If one significant other does not understand why that person cares so much about that principle, it's never going to work, because it's not coded in them. It, like, they can't comprehend that principle because their principles are different. And just because you love each other enough to have a good conversation about it doesn't mean that those problems still aren't going to come back up. Love alone doesn't erase patterns or pain. And I know it's hard to kind of just ignore a deep, unconditional love because, well, no matter what you do, I love you. No matter what you do, I'm going to be there for you. No matter what you do, I'm going to show up for you. No matter what you do, I'm going to love you. And that should make us work. And so they hurt you, and then you're like, fuck. Hey, you hurt me. Oh, well, I only did that because of this, that, and the third. Okay, but you still hurt me. Okay, yeah, but I only did that because of this, that, and the third. But do you understand that you hurt me? No, yeah, like, and I'm sorry, but like, I only really did that because of this, that, and the third. If that's the conversations that you're constantly having, you should leave. Because if someone's giving you excuses rather than being sorry that they hurt you, it's not somewhere that you need to stay. Someone else will be sorry that they hurt you before they want to give you their excuses. But we choose to stay because this love feels so deep, and you know that no matter what, that love will never stop, so it's easy to come right back to it. Even when you start getting drained because it keeps happening, or you just keep getting that yucky feeling, your body tells you when it's not right. Don't ignore it. So just take a second, and I really want you to think, have you ever stayed in love just because you couldn't imagine letting go? Now, for me, even trying to imagine letting go would make me bawl my eyes out and cry, because I just put so much effort into this person, and now you're telling me I'm going to have to let all that effort and work I put in go? That hurts. No matter what, that's going to hurt. And sometimes that pain for some people is so unbearable that they'd rather be in that toxic relationship than start to figure out what letting go would look like. Not every person that you love is your person. Man, I wish this wasn't true, but not every person that you love is your person. Because you love your mom, you love your dad, you love your grandma, you love your best friend, you love your sister, you love who you love. That doesn't mean that that person that you loved as your significant other doesn't have to just be somebody that you loved now. Just because you love them as your significant other does not mean that you can't just love them now. Not love them as your significant other, but just love them now as a person. I know that it's portrayed completely differently in movies and in books, but And honestly, it's not. I just think that we kind of receive it differently, but love does not equal compatibility. And it sucks having to like work through realizing that, because now you have to accept the fact that you put all this effort and all this unconditional love into this person because you thought they were going to be your person, but now you just did it as a life lesson. And that doesn't mean that it was worthless, but it hurts because you didn't think that it was going to just be another lesson. You thought it was going to be the one. But at the end of the day, someone that you're truly compatible with, you're going to love unconditionally like you'd love your mom, brother, sister, best friend. But you'd also respect each other equally and care equally. And by that, I mean when one is lacking, the other picks up. And it's in a spiritual way, it's not in a physical way. Because once you recognize that their spirit isn't fully where it is at 100 right now, then you can also start to see where your spirit kind of fills in. And sometimes it won't always fill in. Relationships aren't supposed to be consistently 50-50, but the communication always has to be 100. The respect always has to be 100. The level of care that you give always has to be 100. And you guys are allowed to get upset with each other and have moments where it lacks, but when you come back together and you have those conversations, it doesn't feel like you're lacking something after it. You shouldn't still be hurt when that conversation's done. And even if you are, the person that you're with should be able to still notice that and want to still try to just uplift your mood. Obviously, the problem has been talked out and fixed, but now it's about showing that compassion and respect and love and care that you have for one another. Healthy relationships don't feel like consistent cycles of drain and repair. Real partnership feels like growth. It feels like even though we're not going like this and we're going like this, we're still going up. It shouldn't feel like you're getting exhausted. It should not be like this. You should always be going up, just not in a straight line. You could go in circles, not in a straight line. But if you're down here, trust and believe that it's not somewhere that you need to be. Some people that you love deeply aren't meant to be your romantic partners. And man, that fucking sucks to say, because how are how are you, the person that I see myself holding hands with and kissing on the cheek and loving so much and having children with and marrying and having this whole 5-year plan planned out with you, how are you not meant to be my romantic partner? I see it. I see it. I don't see that not working out. It might not be easy all the time, but I don't see it not working out. And by not easy all the time, I mean it's actually not easy ever, and majority of the time we're working towards making our relationship better than just, and I don't mean like better, I mean like we had a problem and now we have to fix it. The person that you're supposed to be with, it's gonna be, we're just making it better. Communication makes it better. This makes it better. Respect makes it better. Love makes it better. All of these things make our partnership better. But it's not just love. Love does not hold that tie. It doesn't make these relationships toxic or bad. It just means that it was a lesson and it was something that you had to learn from and grow from. It was another stepping stool for you to get where you needed to be in your life. And it sucks that it has to hurt so much, but that's the way it is. It is possible to revision someone's place in your life without losing them entirely. That is something that I'm working through right now, and I am fucking struggling. Because how am I supposed to be your friend but also not be pissed off with you for everything that just went down over like what, the last 3 months? I'm just not supposed to be hurt because we're friends now? No. You have to know that I'm hurt, and we have to be able to talk about this like it was normal. Because if we aren't able to talk about our friendship and what we had like it's normal, then the thought of, oh, we might get back together will always be there. Real friends talk about shit like that. If you weren't able to talk about shit like that with that person, probably not someone that you should be revisiting in your life. But if it's someone that you truly love and that you truly just could not make it work with, it is perfectly okay to have a hard time with it being over, but still have them in your life as a friend, but you have to be honest with them. You can't just ignore shit and put it to the side. You just have to start consistently seeing them in that new light, whatever light you want to see them in your life. Just revision them. We don't hold hands anymore. We don't kiss anymore. That's not that plan that we had made. That's never going to happen. Like we're not, it's not going to work. It didn't work. We tried it again. We tried again and we tried again. And it still wasn't working. We were still both drained and we were still both hurt. And it's not worth it. It's not worth consistently hurting each other in little ways just because we love each other and we want this to work. And I feel like that's the hardest part, is like letting go of the story, letting go of everything that I thought we were going to have together. Because the pain isn't just losing the person, it's letting go of the life that you thought you were going to have with them. It is okay to grieve the future that you pictured with this person, because it's never going to happen. You're never going to see that. Grieve it, feel it. Let them know if they're still in your life as a friend. Let them know. Don't just ignore what you're feeling because you don't have to tell them anymore. If you guys are having a conversation and it comes up to that point and you have feelings, let them fucking out. You don't need to be perfect. And if they can't accept you as perfect as a friend because you love each other, they don't need to be in your life, because it's not someone who truly loves you. Someone who truly loves you is going to let you be hurt about a situation because your feelings are valid. And when this gets hard, you kind of have to ask yourself, what vision of love are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What what little thing in your heart makes you just kind of pull towards the thought of not letting this go? Really think on that. For me, it's the idea that I want to be with somebody for 40 years by the age of 50. Would that be 30 years? 30 years by the age of 50. Not that any smaller amount of time means less. It's just that something about that to me is just so important. And I kind of just have to let go of that being important sometimes, because I don't have control over things like that in my life. I can put myself out there in that way, but that doesn't mean that it's going to come as soon as I want it. One day, someone will know every part of you, good and bad, and know how to fit right into all of those little things that you need instead of all of those little things that hurt you in your past relationship. Everything that you thought, man, I just wish you would have done this instead of that, they're going to do that instead of that. Or they're going to do this instead of that. Because when they think about loving you, they don't just think about the fact that they love you and you love them. They think about all of it. And they think about how you need to be loved. And until then, you just have to trust that compatibility matters just as much as love. Shit would work if it was meant to work because you're compatible. But like, we have to remember, as a generation, we kind of love everything. You love your ex as much as you love a celebrity. And so if you're struggling with just separating yourself from love and love being smaller than what you thought it was in your love life, when love just isn't enough, remind yourself that I can love someone deeply and still release them to make room for the love that truly fits. You can love someone deeply and still release them to make room for the love that truly fits. Please remember that. Write it down. I like right now I keep thinking I need to like not talk to my most recent ex. I'm like, no, like we shouldn't be talking. Like I can't. Like I just can't. Like I can't. Like this fucking hurts. Like I can't. I literally like want to jump off a cliff every time we speak because what the fuck just went down in these last couple months, and why are we not able to actually have a conversation about it? Why is it always me telling you? Why is it never you telling me? Why is it always me telling you and then you're sorry rather than us just having a genuine conversation about all the shit that went down? And then I have to remind myself that it's just because love is powerful, but it's not always enough for a partnership. And compatibility creates the foundation for a lasting, healthy relationship. Because when you're compatible, that's when shit works. Because you're compatible. But if you're not compatible, you have to be able to recognize that and walk away. And letting go of the story that you thought you were going to have with that person and the way that you thought things were going to go. Make space for a person who truly is going to love you and for you. And like, I want you to ask yourself, am I staying because of love, or am I staying because I'm afraid to let go of what could be here, of what it would look like if things got better? Love doesn't end just because you break up and you want to let go. It just simply changes shape, making space for the love that's waiting for you. I love both of my exes in completely different ways than I loved them before. And the way that I love them now still hurts, but it doesn't hurt nearly as much as it did when I was with them. And that's okay. Okay, so that's it for today's episode of If You Would Have Asked Me. Um, today's episode was about when love isn't enough. As you can tell, we have a new friend. Ironically, I made my friend with my ex. It was a birthday gift. Like I said, it's weird. I love them differently now. New t-shirt, because stuff just got real. Some cowboy boots because we line dance. And his name is Jackie. As you guys can see, she's still back here. Tattie's still here, but she's retired. Oh, also Jackie glows. How cute. Okay. But like I said, guys, just one thing that I really want you to keep with you is you deserve to be with someone that it works. And you know when it doesn't work. So if it doesn't work, don't be afraid to let it go. Because you don't have to fully let it go, you just have to let go of that story. Allow yourself to love that person and still have them in your life in a different way than before, because now you don't have to wonder what if. And know that doing that is going to make room for someone that's going to fit right in, like a puzzle piece. Most generic thing I could fucking think of. But you're worth that. You're worth someone fitting like a puzzle piece rather than being stuck like glue. Because when you stick something in like glue, when you stick a puzzle that doesn't fit in and then you glue it and you try to get it apart, it just fucks up the whole puzzle. But when you have the right piece, everything works. All right. That's all. Bye, guys.